Here I am getting emotional. I'm sorry.
Oh, and that little thing right there, I wouldn't put it past her if she did that to look at the tear, because so many people say she cries without tears. So I would not be shocked at all if she's like, let me pretend I'm looking at the water coming out of my eye. Let me find a little bit of water. It's being like, I'm so happy.
So the only reason I'm showing this footage that I never thought I would share with anyone is because
See, I strongly believe her tears are truly just a massive pity party for herself. Nothing to do with the pain that she caused others, nothing to do with the lasting impact it's going to have on her family. Simply feeling terrible for what she herself had to go through at the hands of these rascally young kids. Sorry, my hair is doing all kinds of things. This is how I feel. Hey guys, so this is a video I really wasn't planning on at all, but I just found the topic to be very timely and kind of ironically timely, and it's going to be pretty rambling. I haven't formulated my thoughts fully on this yet, but Colleen Ballinger just recently uploaded a video relating to 4th of July where she was crying about how terrible the last 4th of July was, and then Gypsy Rose just uploaded a video announcing her pregnancy where she becomes emotional over the concept of being a mom and wanting to be a better mom than her mom ever was, and I just see such parallels between the two of them. I want to watch both of these. I want to watch Gypsy's video in full and then the portion of Colleen's clip where she gets emotional about the past, just because I really think there's more similarities between why they're doing these joint episodes of crying online than people might realize. I don't personally believe either of them in the integrity of their tears. Colleen's video is heartbreaking for anyone that is not familiar with how manipulative she can be. And I believe that there are many people who absolutely could identify with what she says and what she does. And I want to leave respectful space for those people who have been in incredibly dark places like her. I think that she portrays it in a very probably believable and relatable way, but I don't believe her emotions. And then Gypsy, I just don't believe the tears at all. I believe Gypsy cares, much like Colleen. I think Gypsy really only cares about herself. But both of them, I believe, are struggling with the fact that the public's overall perception of them is not positive. They obviously have a smaller, loyal fan base that will forever support them no matter what. But I think the overall public perception of them has only been declining consistently, and they know that, and I think they both hate that. So I think that they're both using these joint situations wherein they're getting emotional to try to garner sympathy and popularity. So let's watch Gypsy's video first. Okay, yep, I have it pulled up here. So let's just pop over there and just do some commentary on it.
Hi everybody. So I know the rumors have been flying around for quite some time now, and I'm happy to announce that I am 11 weeks pregnant. Ken and I are expecting our very first child come January of 2025. We're both very excited. This was not planned at all. It was completely unexpected, but...
So I've watched this a few times. Sorry, I always pause this on the worst facial expressions. I very much felt that she stressed that because she knew everyone's going to say, oh, she did this on purpose to try to keep Ken. I believe either could be true, and in a way, almost both could be true. I think I've seen it said, and it's very true, that Gypsy can be very talented in how she manipulates, but it's like there's this weird disconnect where she doesn't think through what she does, and I think Colleen is very similar. I don't think either of these women are idiots. I think they are very masterful in their ability to get inside the right people's brainwaves to make them think positively about them when the rest of the world is like, no, we don't trust you. There's some people that they just know how to work to get them to believe them. But at the same time, then they make choices that are just completely brain dead and like don't make sense with the level of intelligence required to actually manipulate the way they do. So I could see it being possible that Gypsy both did not plan this, but also is like, awesome, Ken won't leave me now. And maybe she kind of pseudo did plan it. I don't know. It's tricky. So I think she knew that, and that's why she's stressing out the gate. This was not planned. I don't want people to think that I master orchestrated this whole thing. Who knows?
We're both very excited to take on this new journey of parenthood. I have already experienced the symptoms. When I first learned that I was pregnant, the first thing that I noticed was the cravings. So I craved orange juice. Orange juice was not something that like I craved on a daily basis before. So when I started craving orange juice, I'm like, okay, well, guess I just want orange juice. I didn't think anything of it. And so that was one thing. And then like the next thing,
I will say the lip licking, I'm not going to come down on her on that because that's just such a subconscious thing for so many people, I think. But the thing that confuses me about her is that stereotypically lip licking is considered many times with body language expert type people to be a sign of nervousness. And it's difficult because she just does it all the time, it seems like. So it's hard to really gauge, is she feeling nervous about this statement or is she just doing her habitual behavior? Yeah, I don't know.
thing that I noticed was like the hunger, like an insatiable hunger to just eat everything. So I really went on a binge and just started eating everything. And then, of course, I missed my period and I didn't think anything of it because I had seen my OBGYN and I had tested my fertility. And she's like, we're probably going to have to put you on fertility meds or at least something to make you ovulate because you're not ovulating on a regular.
And I saw this commented, and I also agree. Why would you be testing your fertility if you didn't have plans to become pregnant soon? I've only ever heard of people testing their fertility if they very much wanted to become a parent and were planning on becoming a parent pretty soon. I don't know of anyone who was in Gypsy's situation where she's like, yeah, I want to be, but I don't think I'm ready yet. I got to learn how to not be all self-focused first. I know, I'll take a morning after pill before I get pregnant. I haven't heard of anyone in that stage of life being like, let me test my fertility. Could be wrong, but it just doesn't add up to me. And I definitely saw people saying that, and I totally agree with them.
So I'm like, okay, so I had done better when it was like a month out. And so when I missed my period, I thought I was just having issues with ovulation. And it wasn't until I had texted with Ken, and he's like, have you taken a pregnancy test? And I'm like, no, I don't think I'm pregnant. I don't think it's that. And then I had taken a test, and it turned out positive. And so everything just made sense. But my pregnancy journey so far. So I have experienced crazy mood swings. Like, poor Ken. If he breathes wrong, I am just like, pregnancy's not easy with the...
So I wanted to comment on that. She is someone who, and I don't subscribe to any of the platforms where her show is streamed, so I just voraciously watch clips on YouTube because she's very fascinating. From what I've seen, she seems like someone who, if she ever in any way remotely admits that she's wrong on something, which takes an awful lot for her to do, she has this like laugh. I take that back. She has a laugh reaction to everything. I think it's one of those nervous, subconscious efforts to try to create peace in her brain over something that's not a peaceful topic. But people do that. I think Ken actually does similar things, it seems like, where it's just like people laugh at times it doesn't make sense to laugh. And I've definitely noticed, like, because there was an interview that Gypsy did with Ryan when she first got out, and she was talking about how she nags about, was it the toilet seat or something? I don't know. And she chuckled about that. And it just seems like whenever she talks about a little thing that she knows that is not okay that she does, she tries to kind of giggle and be like, I feel like there's just this effort of like, I do this, isn't that kind of cute and funny? Like, it's not that big a deal, And it's like, no, she's probably a monster. Aside from all the other reasons people think she's a monster, she's probably really, really, really awful to be around. Let's just be real. Because it seemed like she was already a pickle with Ryan, even though, Ryan certainly has his own issues and I don't trust him either. She already seemed to be quite a pickle with him without a baby growing inside her. And I have a friend who's pregnant right now and saying very similar things. She's like, my emotions are everywhere. So I can't imagine with Gypsy how incredibly difficult she's making life on Ken. And yes, she just giggles about it. Like, nope, it's not cute. She says poor Ken, and it's like, poor Ken.
Mood swings. And he's been very gracious about it. He's been very forgiving about it, but good Lord. We were driving in the car the other day, and this is before I got my hair done, so I did still have brown hair at this time. But I was listening to music, and a song came on the radio, and I just started crying. And I'm like, why am I crying right now? Like, oh my God, this song has never
my friend did that
emotional. Too. And it was Let It Go or Let Her Go or something by Passenger. Good Lord, I was just in tears. I'm like, I cannot listen to this stuff. I can't do it. A lot of the other symptoms that I've been having is mild symptoms, everything that goes with pregnancy. Now, morning sickness, I've been actually very blessed to not have major morning sickness.
That's
been amazing. So far, pregnancy has been a breeze as far as symptoms. I find like the tiredness is starting to wear off a little bit. That was like the biggest symptom that I had saw with.
So I think in a second she's going to say a breeze again, and I might just be nitpicking, but I do feel like with everything that makes Gypsy who she is, I think she really prides herself on anything that she feels elevates her above other people. And I just think, again, I'm probably nitpicking unfairly, but I think she uses the phrase pregnancy being a breeze as kind of like, hey, look guys, you don't think I'm a fit mom and you don't think I should be this way? Well, guess what? My pregnancy isn't even that hard. So take that. Like, I really feel like that's where it's coming from. Could be wrong, but
Me is that I'm always tired and sleepy. So that's been one thing that I've been dealing with. The rest is completely manageable. Like I said, Ken has been very forgiving to my symptoms. But the rest has been a breeze. And the baby looks healthy, happy. I know it's still going to be a long journey ahead, but...
Now, I will say, I've watched body language videos. Of course, I'm not an expert in any of it. But to her credit, when she looks straight at the camera and says the baby looks healthy and happy, it seems very honest. She makes complete eye contact. The smile seems genuine. She doesn't look away. She doesn't shift. I think even if most of everything of what she's saying might not be true, I do think she's relieved that the baby is healthy. So I believe that.
I'm up for it. I know that
Oh,
there are going to be people that feel like I'm not ready to be a mother.
oh, there's so many things to say on that. So she totally said the exact same thing about marriage and people to Ryan when people were like, aren't you doing this too soon? And she said something to the effect, I think, of, well, I'm pretty sure all of the things that I've had to learn in prison have made me quite capable of being married. I think I'll be fine. And she's just got this like arrogant overconfidence in herself to be able to handle something well that she's had zero time to study and see done in a healthy way, and like she's just clueless and refuses to accept that she's clueless until it's basically shoved in her face. But even then, she barely really accepts anything like that. Oh, when she was saying that people think she's not ready, Gypsy, you yourself said you're not ready just very recently on a TV episode, which I'm also very curious if she's timing this pregnancy announcement with what people just saw. I don't know, because since I don't watch the shows, I don't know exactly when certain statements come out, but I think it's just very recently been revealed that she did the morning after and was saying things like, I'm basically too selfish to have a kid right now, all these things. So it's like, and that's been since, she got out in December. I know that. So, like, it hasn't really even been half a year at all, even close to it, I think, since she said these things. So it's like, no, it's not just that people don't think you're ready, which is true, is that you yourself said you don't want this. And you did a morning after pill with the other guy that you were with. So it's just like, you got to take accountability for what your own actions have been saying and how you've been presenting yourself, which she's not known to do. Nor is Colleen.
And I don't know if anyone's really ready to become a mother.
Probably true.
I don't know anybody that said, okay, I'm ready, I'm doing this, I think in my experience, everybody that I've ever talked to, they're like, it just happened.
That's not true, but...
I feel a shift in myself. When I found out that I was pregnant, none of anything else mattered.
Okay, so starting here is where I absolutely don't believe a single thing that she says. I'm very much nitpicking her body language because I wanted to look for anything that seemed like a clue. And when she says, when I first found out I was pregnant, she does this thing where it's like she was going to do one thing with her hand and then she did another thing. And I personally view that as consciously or subconsciously, she's trying to be very aware now of what she's doing to display herself. And I think her brain, either consciously or subconsciously, said, strike a thoughtful pose where you are telling the world that nothing else matters now that you're pregnant. And another thing that we noticed, there's a word for it, I can't remember it, but when people kind of talk like this and they just have more of a breathy tone, she starts taking that on. Nothing matters. All the drama, it's pointless to me now that I have a baby. And I think this is all very thought through, and that's why I don't believe anything that she's about to say, and I also don't believe the tears that are about to happen very soon.
The drama on social media, the feud between creator and me and all of that drama just all faded. It didn't matter anymore. All that matters is making sure that I'm healthy, the baby's healthy, my relationship with Ken is healthy, and we are moving forward in a positive way.
Yeah, I don't believe any of that at all. And I won't take the time, but I know that there have been clips that have been coming out with her where she's been on TikTok Live recently. And I know at some point she just was telling people, ask juicier questions. Like, she cares very much about people being involved in her life, wanting the juicy details, playing both of these guys. And I'm sure she feels awesome that Ryan's not over her and Ken's not yet leaving her. I'm sure she loves all of that. So the fact that she claims she's over all of it, like, no, your own actions are disproving you. Sorry, my hair is doing all kinds of things. This is how I feel. Sorry. Your own actions are disproving what you're saying, so just accept it.
It's an amazing feeling when your whole world shifts.
Yeah, when it does.
And suddenly it's not about you. it's not about anything other than the tiny little life that's inside you that you are now in charge of protecting. And that little tiny life is a baby, a little tiny human that's yours, and that you have to make sure that you protect, you love, you take care of, and all of the things that I wished I could have had when I was little.
And here come the tearless tears that she is known for, and that is also why I do not believe this. I know it's kind of pixelated. I'm doing this on YouTube, however you say it, but there really aren't any tears that I can see.
Here I'm getting emotional. I'm sorry.
Oh, and that little thing right there, I wouldn't put it past her if she did that to look at the tear, because so many people say she cries without tears. So I would not be shocked at all if she's like, let me pretend I'm looking at the water coming out of my eye. Let me find a little bit of water to stare. I'm sorry. Now I'm getting snarky.
All the things that I wanted in a mother, I want to give to this baby. And knowing that I am a mother now, and I'm happy, and I just want to be a good mother for my child.
When she says happy, I just found it so interesting that she goes happy. I could see that being one of two things, and I would love to know what body language experts have to say on this. I could see this being exuberance and being like, I am just so happy. But I could also see it being kind of a subconscious pushing back of like, actually, I'm mother-loving terrified. I did not plan this, or I did plan it, and now I'm realizing I can't go back. And I don't think anyone believes she's actually in a happy relationship with Ken. And so I could see it just being like, I'm so happy. You know, like, no, girlfriend, none of us believe you are.
I want to be everything my mother wasn't.
That's another thing. She really, and much like with Colleen, she really wants to remind people that she's a victim, because she's made it very clear she hates the fact that people look at her as a murderer. She wants people to move on. Like, yes, I did something that was not the right decision, but let's move on from that. I'm going to do amazing things with my life because I was a victim. Let's just focus on me being the victim rather than the terrible decision that I made. And I think this is another effort at stressing my mother was terrible. Let's not forget about that, shall we? Even though, yeah, whatever, I won't.
I had a wonderful talk about the future for him and I. And we both agree that we both grew up in broken homes. I grew up without a father pretty much. And he grew up in a family where, you know, his parents got divorced. And
So
I
it was
think we both
divorce.
agree that neither one of us wants our child to be in that kind of a situation.
So I find it very interesting that she's looking to the side. I mean, I think that can occur when people are thinking really deeply. I know I do it all the time. I don't look straight at the camera all the time. So I don't inherently think it's weird for her to be looking at the side when having these deep conversations, but she, I think, is doing more lip licking, more looking to the side. And I personally feel like she's very insecure deep down inside over the concept of them making it. I did a video on Ken before, also Ryan, but I didn't even know for sure if Ken's parents were divorced. I was assuming it was divorced. It sounded like it, and so she just confirmed it. And I strongly believe that Ken's unhealthy behavior stems from his growing up experience of not having a healthy marriage represented to him, and likely feeling deeply insecure over the man that his father was. And it kind of sounds like Gypsy is in a way saying that because they're supposedly both saying to each other, we don't want to be anything like the parents that we grew up with. So yeah, I mean, I don't think either of them have any level of stability that they're now entering this dynamic with, which is terrifying. It can work. People can come from very broken homes and make wonderful families together. I totally get that. I don't really believe it's possible for these two.
With that being said, it doesn't matter what we go through, him and I. Whatever we face,
More
we'll
looking.
face it together. Because
Look
we
at tears.
have a baby now. We have something that's bigger than either one of us. So whatever comes our way, whatever arguments we have, whatever...
Another tell she absolutely has, and I've honed in on this and watched this constantly. If you want to know that she doesn't feel confident in something she's talking about, she does this. There's one, her mouth does this, and I think she literally did that. I mean, she's probably terrified right now.
Drama gets thrown at us on social media. We're gonna stick together. We're not breaking because we are a family now.
And that to me said everything when she said, "We're not breaking," looking to the side. Like, to me, looking away in that very moment, to me, says she's terrified that they won't stay together. I know. I don't know. I am very certain that she knows deep down inside there's a high likelihood Ken will leave at some point. But she also knows that everyone's telling her that, which she can't stand, because she can't stand anyone assuming that they know anything about her or trying to tell her how she should do things. Ryan has said that. She's exemplified that in her life. So again, she's including this detail of, we're not breaking up and we're not going anywhere. We will figure it out, people. So stop coming for me and this man that I've loved for all these years. Loved. But then she does the little eye dart. I think she's way more insecure than she'll ever tell people.
And as unconventional as this relationship and this child may have came from, I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, no, girlfriend. If you are really that happy, your eyes are not going to be going everywhere. I couldn't be happier. I'm so happy. Like, no, you would just be like, I know this is not conventional, but I couldn't be happier. Peace and calm looks like just, here I am. I'm happy. Peace and calm doesn't look like the lip licks and the twitches and the glancing around and all the things.
I found my freedom in a way that I never expected. And I'm okay with that. Everything that has ever happened to me in my life suddenly doesn't matter.
Not true.
Because it all led me to be who I am today.
You don't know who you are.
It all led me to this moment right here, right now. And that's a blessing. To say that I made it. That's a success story.
I know for sure she, whether or not she really scripted out all of that, for sure that last bit was very much thought through. She knew exactly what she wanted to say in the end. And another thing I forgot to mention with the whole crying thing, and Colleen does this as well in her video, is Colleen, Gypsy both, in the previews to these videos where Gypsy uploaded a preview of this video onto her Instagram, and then Colleen does what most people do now, where she has a little preview at the beginning of the video just to entice people. They both made sure to include clips of themselves lying. I'm sorry. Freudian slip. Clips of themselves crying and lying. Clips of themselves crying. So I don't know how much Gypsy scripted this video, but I'm very certain that she knew she was going to cry. I'm very certain that this last little bit where she's talking about finding her freedom in a way she didn't expect, she planned to say that. But we all know, whether or not she'll ever admit it, she has no idea who she is. She will perhaps spend a lifetime trying to figure that out. I hope the best for the baby. I don't know if I hope for her and Ken to stay together, but whatever will be best for the baby, that's what I want. And that's all I can say to that. Then Colleen's video. Adam McIntyre did a commentary on this, and let me make sure. Yeah, okay, so that shows up fine. Yeah, I'm just going to play it. I already said that I think she probably represents deep depression fairly, but it just makes my skin crawl that the deep depression was simply because she was losing her dream, not because she had deeply hurt other people. So
that's what we worked on all day today, and I'll show it to you tomorrow when we finish it. I'm so grateful for my family and my kids, my incredible kids. Tonight, as I was getting Flynn ready for bed, we got home from the fireworks show. He was so freaking tired. It was like 10 p.m. He was putting on his pajamas, and he just said, "Mommy, you're the best mommy in the whole world." And I could cry.
So I don't know her normal cryingness, if you will, but this seemed like quite a pause to pull out tears. Could be wrong, but it just seemed very dramatic to me. Again, I think she planned her tears for sure.
The 4th of July last year was so awful.
For you, you think.
And I didn't know if I'd be here for this 4th of July. I'm so glad that I would. Now,
I know she's not gone into grave detail over these dark thoughts, we'll say, that she supposedly had. But I've heard it said, and I think she very much falls into this, she's alluded to these dark thoughts numerous times, and I've heard it said that people who actually want to do this to themselves don't announce it, don't constantly hint at it, don't constantly dangle it as this manipulative carrot. They just, I'm sorry, gives me chills to say, they just do it. They just do it because they actually mean it. She, I don't think, would ever have actually done it because I think she's too obsessed with and in love with herself to take herself out of the world and to do the world that huge disservice, which, let me clarify, I don't want anyone to do that to themselves. I don't care who they are. That's not okay. But from her point of view, she likes to try to pull on the heartstrings of people. Again, I think she's trying to gain sympathy and more popularity by saying this yet again. But I don't think she ever would have actually done it.
I'm so glad that I could be here for this 4th of July. So it might not have been a huge, big, epic barbecue and parades and massive family event like it is every year for me. But it's one that I'll find very special for the rest of my life, and I think that Flynn will too. I'm just so grateful for my little family. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and thanks for watching. Hi everyone, it's the next day. I know that this vlog should have ended like 8.
So while she really shouldn't have given everything that she is. Now, I mean, I fully support transparency, and I love when people share deep stories like this to show, look, you're not alone. This is what I went through. If you're experiencing this, here's something that helped me. I think that's amazing and wonderful, and I fully support people doing that. Her being her, she had no business telling anyone that because it's a manipulation tactic, and I'm sick of that from her. But that being said, that should have been the end of this. Is it the end of it? Of course it's not the end of it. There's more.
Times by now, but there's something else I want to say really quick. Obviously, I was very emotional at the end of the vlog last night. Are we surprised? I'm always emotional. But as some of you may know, I took a break from the internet last year. To suddenly not share my life anymore after doing it for so long was pretty jarring. And so my therapist had recommended that I just continue to film. It was very therapeutic and very helpful for me to be able to continue to express myself and my feelings, even though...
So I would like to just pause on this concept, which she's said numerous times. Whether or not it's true, her therapist told her she should continue to vlog, even though she claims she didn't know she'd ever vlog again after last year, which that should have been the case, but of course it's not. Even if the therapist said that, and she's about to say, like, she never thought that she'd show this footage, I don't believe that at all. The therapist would absolutely have not been telling her vlog so that you can show this later. It literally would have been, I don't know why, but I'm assuming the therapist was just trying to come up with some way to help her maintain mental stability and just said, okay, well, sure. Like, if that is so integral into your daily life and you're just needing to process healing slowly but surely, sure, just keep vlogging so that it's not so jarring to you. I could see maybe a therapist saying that, but just thinking about vlogging is so self-centered. So it's just the therapist telling her, continue to be self-centered to make yourself feel better and to make the healing easier on yourself. Like, it's just so bizarre. And then, of course, she claims she wasn't going to show it.
I wasn't going to post it anywhere online. At the time, I thought I would never be back on the internet again. I thought there was no place for me there. I was severely depressed. And I want to show you guys some of the footage because depression is a nasty beast. When I think of 4th of July last year, I remember the feelings. So watching the footage made me realize there was more than just feelings. There was also other parts of reality that were beautiful that I couldn't see. So the only reason I'm showing this footage that I never thought I would share with anyone is because if there's anyone watching who feels like their life is so dark or things are so hard and it won't get better or there's nothing to live for, I promise you, you just can't see it right now, but it is there. You're just focusing on the wrong side of the fog, and that's not your fault. Eventually, you will get to the top.
I strongly believe that she planned all along at some point to show the video clip we're about to see. I strongly believe her tears are truly just a massive pity party for herself. Nothing to do with the pain that she caused others, nothing to do with the lasting impact it's going to have on her family, simply feeling terrible for what she herself had to go through at the hands of these rascally young kids.
The mountain and be able to see the top of the fireworks. Sorry to be corny with my little metaphor there, but it does kind of feel like that. Like, I had this really beautiful, perfect view of the fireworks, and then if I had just stayed on the ground this year and stayed at the beach, I would have just seen fog. I wouldn't have been able to see anything. I climbed up that mountain with people that mattered the most to me. It wasn't a perfect view of the fireworks, but I could see the fireworks. I know I'm being super, like, extra and corny and whatever, but I'm just going to show you a couple of clips from my 4th of July last year. You're going to see a quick clip of what I remember and how I remembered 4th of July from last year. Then you're going to see some clips that I didn't even remember of my sweet children just being adorable and lovely. And depression stole those memories from me and made me believe that my whole world was just me crying in my bed, not wanting to be here anymore, and that wasn't true.
I strongly believe that that could be very accurate for depression, and I don't want to minimize anyone's valid experiences of depression, but I do believe that Colleen's experience of depression is more so a huge pity party tantrum than actual clinical depression. Do I know? Can I know? No. I recognize that and I respect that, but given everything that she's evidenced in her life, I think she's just depressed that she doesn't get to do what she wants. Still.
And I'm so grateful that I filmed my 4th of July so that I could be reminded of the beautiful moments. And that's how I'm going to choose to remember the day last year now. Depression and anxiety are still things I struggle with, but I do think a little bit of perspective goes a long way. And I'm very grateful that I'm doing a little bit better than I was. I'm going to finally stop talking, and I'm just going to show you these clips. And I hope you guys all have a great weekend. I just want it to be over. I know my kids need me, so I'm holding on as best I can, but I can feel my body dying.
Okay, let's just pause it on this. I mean, like, that in and of itself is heartbreaking. But we have to remember that truth of years of trauma and abuse of power and carelessness and recklessness are when she filmed this, all of that truth is coming out. And she's only focused on what she lost. This grief should have been, if she had to be grieving what she lost, it should also have been coupled with grief over what she intentionally or in her mind unintentionally caused other people. And even in her mind, if she's convinced there's a bunch of lies, there should also have been grief of, how did I misrepresent myself so well that these people are now claiming these things about me? Because I'm sure she views this, I'll just switch it to myself, I'm sure she views this as people just wanting clout and just wanting to, I mean, she probably knows the truth deep down inside, but she's trying to at least say that she just sees it as people wanting clout and popularity off of her name and just being cruel to her. But the reality is she should be able to see that even if these people were lying about her, which I don't believe they are, there is true pain. There is true suffering that these people all went through, that she negatively impacted, especially as they were young adults, teens, whatnot. So there should be some form of grief and regret and pain for them and what she caused to them. And she absolutely should have reached out to them, which she never did. And I find it shocking and disgusting. If I was in her position and I found out, like, even with this my tiny little YouTube channel, if I start wondering, oh no, am I veering too far in this way? Am I being unfair in that way? Like, I want to be as fair as I can be while still holding to who I am. That is crucial to me. And the fact that she was just like, nope, these people are lying and I don't care. And now I'm mad. And now I'm going to film myself lying in bed crying about it and then pretend that I never planned on showing that. Like, it's all manipulation. It is so self-centered and arrogant and careless and reckless. And I hope, Colleen, you see this video because you need to hear people say these things.
It's 4th of July. It's the first 4th of July in probably
She looks
13 years,
haggard.
maybe 14 years that I have not vlogged. It was weird. So I'm vlogging for Noah. Just for now to see. Or maybe you guys. It's singing Maisie. How on earth am I gonna go from, sorry, you have to hear baby sharks. Who am I talking to? Me? I need to see. Can you see this?
No, she knew she was going to show this.
Here it comes.
They are very cute, I will say. I think that's pretty much the end of it. She just shows some other clips with herself and then a little photo of herself from this year. And let me clarify, when I said she looks haggard, that wasn't just me bullying her. It's fascinating to see how ill people can become while the illness and the evidence of illness solely coming from a place of complete selfishness and self-absorption. Like, you would think that she would look that way out of grief over the pain that she caused others, but it's simply grief over her own self and her own state in life. And it's just interesting to see that displayed. So yeah, I really believe that she was using her tears to try to garner sympathy and more support from people who have suffered from depression and all these things, because she's losing views. So she desperately wants views. I think Gypsy used her tears to make people move away from remembering that she orchestrated the murder of her mother. I do view her as a former murderer. She hates that, but I see that. And I think she wants people to see her as a victim who is now a mother. So give me a little break now because I'm about to be a mommy vlogger. Like, manipulative tears are so not okay. And I know that this is a channel that's about relationships. So just to kind of sum it all up, like, I cry a lot. I wish I didn't cry as much as I did, but I don't ever use my tears to try to pull out emotions in other people. If anything, once I start crying, I do the best I can to try to kind of gather myself afterward. My husband's very supportive. He doesn't mind if I cry. I wish I didn't cry as much, but it's not acceptable to use what should be a very valid, deep, sometimes healing emotion to get other people to do what you want, in relationships, in the media, in anything. So yeah, I just find it very interesting. Both these ladies did this very recently. It'll be interesting to see where both of these ladies end up in the future. But yeah, those are my thoughts. So thanks for listening to my rambling. I will see you later.